What's up, everybody? It's Will
and Chris
from The High Five and Knuckles Up, and we are joined by none other than the man from across the pond, James Brick Wall, coming down to Knuckles Up for September 14th. Going to be playing against the armbender himself, Craig Tullier. James, tell the people, are you feeling strong? I don't know. You're coming against a tough opponent now. How you feeling right now, brother?
I'm feeling fantastic, mate. I'd say that this is probably the best prepped I've ever been. I've never really tapered for a match before properly. I've never really felt so good, if I'm being honest. And I think I need to be after looking at his last performance.
Yeah.
Wow, he blew me away with that. So thankfully, the prep will hopefully pay off, because he's looking really good, really good.
Yeah, that is actually a good question, because obviously you guys are from the same neck of the woods. Have you talked to Tom Holland? Is there, because he obviously knows your game as good as you know his, anything specific you're trying to prep for Craig?
Yeah, so before Tom's match with Craig, I sort of, I was watching all of Craig's previous matches from this year.
Mm-hmm.
And stylistically, he suits me, to be honest. I'm hoping that, it's going to be a really good match. He goes in a direction that suits me. I've had a couple of messages off Tom, not spoken to him properly about the match.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me some pointers, over message, but I think I'll have a chat with him, I think, next week and, sort of get the real, details from it. But to be honest, from what I saw, it was pretty dominant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tom couldn't really access anything, Kenny Powell, really. Looked like he was trying something different. I would have liked to have seen Tom. I think he may have done, but I'd have liked to have seen him dive into the hook to see that raw power, to test that raw power out. But from what I've seen, I'm so excited to arm wrestle Craig because he's really fast. I'm really fast. He's really powerful. I'm really powerful. And, similar sort of stature, but he's got potentially like a longer arm than me that might give me a little bit of trouble. I don't know. I think it's a match made in heaven. I really do.
So you're not going to top roll him?
I don't kiss and tell, maybe.
I love it.
For everyone, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll top roll you first round. No, I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm glad to hear that your training is going well. We also obviously are always, we're big fans of the sport. We're doing our homework. So today, in preparation for this, I was like, let me watch some more of James's matches, just kind of get, back on it and stuff like that. And, one of them that really intrigued me again, and maybe, if you don't know, one special thing that we do in Knuckles Up is we have some like secret undercard matches that don't get aired other than on our YouTube premium page. And it's something that the athletes kind of vote for themselves, right? So they'll say, hey, you guys should pull or whatever. And then this time, for the first time ever, our YouTube will have a say in which matches happen. But your match on the left arm with Ryan Bowen back at Arm Gods it was over a year ago, I think, right?
I want to say he was
It was nearly 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it was quite a while ago. And so maybe that one will have to be we run that back if you're comfortable with it. But I guess the where I'm getting at with this is you've seen the card. What are you, other than your own match, is anything sticking out to you? You're excited to watch? Or you're like, man, that's going to be a killer match.
Oh, wow. The one that stands out for me is Marcio and Jordan. That really stands out for me. If you'd have told me 2 years ago that you'd have been pulling with Jordan and Plamin, I pulled with them in Bulgaria. I was with them in Ireland at the start of this year. I'd just say you're joking, right? So to now it's now coming to America with them, and they're on the same card as me. It's just honestly, it's like a dream come true. And Jordan and Plamin, they're two of my favorite arm wrestlers. It's just incredible. But the match with Marcio and Jordan in particular is a standout for me. I love their styles. I mean, I can't call it either. I don't know enough about Marcio and his current condition. I mean, when I first started arm wrestling, he was someone I was watching quite a lot, sort of back in 2015. But the wild days were quite enough then. They were dying.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I don't really even remember Craig Tullier from those days. I had to look back and do some research into him. So, but Marcio, stood out, and Jordan's just got a killer hook. He's
Oh
got
yeah,
a killer hook. I mean, I felt it firsthand, and it's horrible. I felt it firsthand, but it's so strong.
Now, is there anything different you're doing, right? We don't want to give it all the way to Craig, right? You got to have a fighting chance. But did you approach this training differently? Were you focusing on some different types of strengths, or were you just sticking to your same lane and getting it stronger?
No, I'm always about sort of training my weaknesses. I sort of have a creative background. My life is fairly artistic, so like I sort of incorporate that into my training. A lot of it's quite experimental. I like to mix it up a little bit. But generally, I have sort of like last year for me, I had so many super matches and tournaments. I was probably pulling every 2 weeks. So it was like I had a super match, and then I had 2 weeks to rest, and then I had another super match, and then I got a tournament in 2 weeks. There was never any rest really, and never any taper. So I don't think anyone last year really saw my potential. And then I got really strong for the end of January or February this year, where I was supposed to have Tom Holland, believe it or not. So
yes.
Yeah, so that didn't happen last minute. So I went to Ireland and I ended up winning this tournament there. And then there was only a few weeks for RVJ. So I was strong for RVJ, but for this match in particular, it's been about getting rehab. So certainly because 9 years in the sport, you start to get a few, especially if you're a hooker like myself, you're always going to get a few little areas that are going to get damaged and things. So it's been more about rehabbing those areas, training my strengths, certainly like my lane where to go. That's always there. That's just bred in me to do that. But really, it was actually something that Jordan was telling me to train last year, more rotation. So sort of like teaching about the rotation is so important in a hook. And ever since then, I have actually been training my top roll, not necessarily to use it off a ready go, but really to defend my hook. If you've got a ridiculous top roll and hand and riser rotation, then you can sort of you can stop the top roller getting access into your hand and fingers. So that's pretty much that, really. Yeah. So it's mainly training for that. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I'm excited for this match, Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, during my research, the RVJ match was really impressive to me. I think the fact that you were able to go in there with the hook, and again, he's coming up back from him taking a little bit of hiatus. He pulled obviously Brandon Allen on our previous card, but that was super impressive. I mean, for me, it showed a lot of the possibilities of your match with Craig. Going in there, the fight for side pressure, center of the table is going to be pretty electric.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, RVJ was he was quite a bit heavier than you at that match, right?
Oh,
or did you match? Yeah.
I think he was don't quote me, but I think Ryan knows, sort of 112, 115 or something.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
He was also really hungover, so that was probably that was
yeah, he was just numb, So
he pulls well like that, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Me, I wouldn't have seen me for 3 weeks, but so yeah, thanks, mate. That was a good match. That was a good match. I think looking back, in hindsight, I wish I hadn't have done the tournament in January in Ireland, and maybe I did a training schedule and a plan and a taper like I'm doing now for Craig. I think then it's different. Obviously, I'm not making excuses, but there's things went wrong a little bit in training for that, leading up to RVJ. But mentally, and that's what I really do work hard on, the mental side of the sport and the approach, certainly sort of like on the day itself, getting in the right zone is probably just as important. I'd say that, to be honest, the mental training and the approach and sort of the well-being is just as important as the physical training. In fact, to me, the physical training is quite easy because it's like, right, I've got a list and I need to train that. And it's quite simple. Train my weaknesses today, I'll do this. And whereas, the mental side, getting ready for a tournament or a match, it can be really taxing and quite sort of interesting because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to feel from one day to the next, especially with the long flights, lots of traveling, I could have enough, I've got to make a weight, but I'm really close to that anyway, which is good. So I just like to, and it's not for me, it's like for me, it's just making sure that I can do the best that I know I can do on the day. So obviously, I want to beat Craig, and I believe I can beat Craig. But what's more important is that I execute everything that I've done correctly on the way to the match. You know, if I lost, but it was like, right, I could have done that better, that will get to me. But if I lose and I've done everything perfectly and the approach to the table was perfect, then it's not so bad. Then it's just right, you know. Yeah. So I've just got to make sure that the plan is going right, and it is so far.
Basically. Good. Well, I just want to take a quick moment to thank everybody that is watching live here and on Instagram. We appreciate it so much. As we mentioned before, please like, comment, and subscribe. And, of course, go to thehigh5aw.com and get your pay-per-view and in-person tickets now, because James is coming, and he is going to whoop the ass of Craig. I shouldn't say that. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll see. It's going to be an absolutely killer match. Now, you did mention, obviously, the flight that, coming over. That does take a toll. We did just see, obviously, at East vs. West in Florida, the U.S. kind of did a little bit better this time. Now, is it because they didn't have to fly so far? Was it the matchups? I'm not sure. But we'll take care. We'll have Gatorades and all that stuff waiting for you, so don't worry. But no, yeah, we are so excited and very thankful that you took this match. Now, you've obviously never been to Knuckles Up. Have you flown over to the United States for any arm wrestling in the past few years?
Right. I've never been to the United States, so that's also what's going to be overwhelming to me. This
Very cool.
This is a big thing. I've been to Canada. I beat Alan Ford last year in a match in Ottawa.
Okay.
But I have never been to the USA before, and I'm so excited because it's like I'm coming for the first time to arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Itself is like an amazing thing. It's just great. So yeah, I'm buzzing. So I'll probably be really overwhelmed because honestly, I live in Lincolnshire, which is just like fields and cows and pigs and little cottages and stuff. So I'm going to get
switch. Can we switch? I want to live there. I don't want the city no more. I want quiet. I want sheeps and all that stuff.
You don't. You want those high-rise buildings and pizza and
Yeah. I guess that is a good segue, for the people that obviously don't know your background. Can you kind of tell us how you got into the sport? And obviously, you already mentioned you kind of have like an artistic background.
So I got into the sport. So my background in sort of sport is mainly so rock climbing. Actually, believe it or not, I've been in like an avid rock climber. Yeah, for that said, I haven't done it for 9 years because arm wrestling stopped me from doing it. I just fell in love with arm wrestling, but and I did try it about 5 years ago, and now just like I can't reach for anything. Can't do it. So, but yeah, rock climbing like my whole life really. Bouldering, outside, indoor rock climbing. Avid gym goer from a very young age. Always quite obsessed with upper body strength and hand strength. My mum was a gymnast. I grew up. So I grew up. My family were antique dealers and antique restorers. So I spent my childhood probably from the age of like 5 lifting like really heavy furniture, and like newly French polished, and you couldn't, when you take it to people's houses, you couldn't scratch it. So I probably got the best arm wrestling training as a child because everything was just static lifting. And I couldn't scratch it or anything. So, and that was up and downstairs, or when I was younger. And then, the whole family are artistic and creative. We're all sort of like self-employed. I never really took art that seriously. I do paint, and I've sold paintings, but to be honest, I just went straight into work, and then a bit later on fell into sort of the property world, and now I like buying and doing up houses and selling them basically, and sort of designing them the way I like to design them.
Very cool.
So yeah, and that's what I'm doing right now, renovating a house.
That's fantastic. Very cool.
And I've got an antique shop as well, actually, a very small little art gallery and antique shop. And at the back of that is my arm wrestling gym. So I'm there sort of twice a day, making a lot of racket. And then I go to like a commercial gym just to do like more big body stuff.
Sure.
But I got into arm wrestling in 2015. Back then I didn't have any social media. And I just got in touch with somebody, and they put me in touch with the club and started pulling. And do you know what? Since 2015, I just was obsessed with the sport straight away. I was obsessed with it. And I was pulling in like the British professional, like pro, the pro classes in England, in Britain, probably after about 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
Happens to everyone, doesn't it? And then just worked my way up really. And I probably never had longer than 2 weeks off an arm wrestling table in 9 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Always make sure there's one close to me if I go on holiday, and I'm finding people, if it's so. I've been consistent, and a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you've got good really fast." It's not. It's been 9 years of pulling day in, day out, training weaknesses, getting through it, and I think that's why arm wrestling is so special to me, is the fact that you can imagine in someone's life, we all go through really bad times, hard times in life. But what I noticed with arm wrestling is it never stops during those hard times. It never stops. So, say I've had like 4 really bad times in the last 10 years, nearly 10 years. I just never stopped arm wrestling. And looking back, I'm like, do you know what? God, arm wrestling is the most positive thing in my life. So everyone start arm wrestling. It changes your life.
Yeah, it's arm wrestling. We need to make that a shirt. Arm wrestling saves lives.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was gonna say, like, a lot of our team, we talk about it like off the table as well, that it's almost like our religion. Like, every week we meet up with our friends that we train with, and it's that one constant, like you said, that kind of keeps us grounded, which is really cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, so I know obviously, you don't want to look past your current matchup, right, with Craig, but do you have any people on that quote unquote like hit list, or people you look up to that you'd love to have a match with?
You see, when I get asked this a lot, especially at the end of matches, and Jake's obviously, this is a question from him, and sometimes my constant reply, and I'll tell you, is something like, whoever wants it, It's just a reaction, but I think the truth is, it's because I don't chase the people. I just want to see how good I am. I mean, I just want to be the best I can be. So whoever's in front of me, is getting it. That's it. It's not so much like, of course, I want to beat Craig when he's there, but it's not. It's like, I just want to make sure that I just want to be the best I can be. But if I really do think about it, I would love one day to be on par with people like Sasho Andreev. He's my weight at that sort of level. Maybe in sort of 18 months, 2 years, of another, lots of training. I think the training for me is getting better and better. I think in the sport, if you're clever with it, and you listen to people and train your weaknesses, and take losses well, which I think I do. If I lose, I analyze it, I watch it, and I don't, let it get me down. I'm in the gym. The day after I got back from RBJ, I was in the gym straight away.
Oh wow.
And just working things out, and I think those guys are catchable. And it was actually RBJ that said that actually from him as well. He said that I felt like a Zurab.
Oh wow!
That's a really big compliment. Yeah.
Not quite there. He said, like, you could be. You're on the way to go.
Sure.
And I think that's what it is. It's like you have to be resilient in anything in life, don't you? And I see it. And I think the better I got, the more knocks I've had off people in the last like 2 or 3 years. And you've just got to keep going. You just got to keep going and just go goodbye. And the results will come, your way as they are. So maybe the Zurabs, the Sashos, not so much the people, but that sort of level would be amazing, because that's pretty much there, isn't it? At 95, 100 kilos, really. They don't get better than that, do they?
Yeah, I mean, if you are able to get that win on Craig, you would be kind of knocking at that door of pulling with them, because they all want to pull it too.
That's the aim, yeah. If I can beat Craig, I feel like that's potentially the next step, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough match. I think it's gonna be good. Obviously, stylistically, sorry, it's what everybody wants to see. No one doesn't love a nice hook battle, right? 2 guys banging inside, going absolutely apeshit. I know You know, you're gonna have to do some side pulling with him
I was
afterwards.
gonna
After
say,
he's tired,
I've
you know.
strategically just built the card so I could pull a bunch of hook pullers because I like to pull hook too,
Yeah.
just so I can learn from you guys.
Yeah,
That's just me being
yeah.
selfish.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
James, the people, how old are you now?
Just turned 39, actually. Yeah,
Oh, so you're and if you think about it from a physiological perspective, you're in those prime years where your muscles are really starting to mature and harden up and get stronger. So the next 5 to 6 years is going to be a beautiful point for you in arm wrestling. I think, like you said, the sky's kind of the limit right now. But we have the Aussie arm wrestler is in the chat. He is here. Absolutely awesome. What is up, Jake? But yeah, I think you're right on point. Right, focused in on the training and just keep ticking away. Now, I saw a second ago. Are you unable to extend both arms now, or is it just the right arm?
So yeah, kind of.
Okay, all right, very cool. Yeah,
the left arm's falling behind the right now.
Looks like a leg.
Yeah, falling behind is definitely not the right word. They're absolutely massive. But it's just interesting because if you remember, last time Craig was at Knuckles Up, he lost to Svetan Gashevsky, and he is someone who is literally stuck like right here. Right, he does not extend at all. So maybe that'll play to your just make sure you don't straighten your arm at all over the next 4 weeks. Just stay in a sling like this the whole time.
Yeah, it scares me a little bit. I still do train, like only lightly, but I still train like fully extended a little bit as well. Now, I get a lot of people telling me, oh, if you do that, then you're restricting your static strength. But I'm like, yeah, but I just want the flexibility there as well. Just so I like to stretch off and stuff. But yeah, the right arm definitely doesn't quite sort of stretch out as much as it used to. But
yeah, I'm a big believer in that as well. Like a flexible muscle is a healthy muscle, which will just be better for you in a long period of time.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody wants to really be walking around like this.
No. It started though, hasn't it? I think after 5 years of pulling, suddenly like you walk around with your palms down.
Yeah, your pronation is just taking over.
Yeah, definitely. But and that's you said something about Craig with the stylistics. It's like a style. Sorry, he's definitely more of a drag hooker, which is really interesting. I really like drag hookers, and I'm more driving hook. I go more straight sideways. So I think that's just a match made in heaven, really. I think, elbows could be flying. I'll be watching Craig's, like a hawk. Don't you worry.
We're gonna have some extra huge ice buckets on the side. Just dump their elbows in.
Yeah, please.
Absolutely fantastic.
But yeah, I guess on the topic of Setvon, right? Are there any matches on our upcoming card that obviously aside from your own, that you're really excited to see? I know we talked about Marcio, Jordan.
Yeah, obviously the Bulgarians. I'm interested to see. Is it Robbie Russell?
Robbie Russell. Yeah, Robbie Russell.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that because he's come up in a lot of matches that I've been watching, and he looks similar weight to me. He looks really, really strong. So that'll be good. He's got obviously a hell of a match as well. Hell of a match, the other Bulgarian. But it's like that one is going to be great. It'd be nice to see Matarangi again because I saw at Armwars last year and then Arm Gods this year, and it's nice that we keep bumping into each other. All over the world, really. It's lovely.
Well, we have to shout out Phil Woody, UK, just gave a super chat saying James going to bring the rain like in 1814. Does it? So he said red coats. All right, I'm just saying, you're coming overseas, man. You better watch it. Freedom all day long. I don't have a favorite. I just want a good match. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. No, we're very, very excited about it. And once again, we couldn't thank you enough for trusting in us and coming overseas. We're really excited for you to see what we do here at Knuckles Up and the High Five. But now we do this with all of our athletes that come on. Before we wrap things up, because I know Craig's going to be watching.
Oh,
doesn't have to be. It can be nice. It can be mean. It could just be a tip. Whatever it is, the floor is yours, James. A message to Craig Tullier.
So, Craig, the British are coming on the 14th of September. You bring that super glue and make sure that elbow is stuck to that pad because I'm going to knock it off. All right. And I hope you have a great match, buddy. See you soon.
That is it. Can we end on a better note?
No,
Oh my God. Oh, Craig, bring that super glue because he's coming to knock your block off, my friend. James, thank you so much for joining
Thank
in.
you guys. It's great to finally talk to you.
Oh, 100%. And we'll be seeing you in just a few weeks. Guys, once again, Knuckles Up for September 14th. We're going to be starting at 1 p.m. EST. Don't forget to go to thehigh5aw.com to get your pay-per-view and in-person tickets. If you want to meet James, you want to meet Craig, you want to meet these amazing athletes, go to the Barrymore Film Center in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Guys, if you are in the Northeast area, you're going to want to be there. It's going to be absolutely crazy. James, thank you.
Guys, see you soon.
Make sure you bring your red coat.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you later.